Hey, curious about this thing? Thinking about getting one? Wondering if it's a fit for you or your home? The quality? Or if the cost is worth it? Well, stick around. We're covering it all. It's the Peloton Review. Quality. So, I've had my Peloton for about 5 months. Issue free. Has worked great. Smooth as the day I bought it. Screen works great. Turns on every time. When I get an update, goes through, continues to work great. It's been awesome. That being said, this isn't the only one ever made. So, other people tend to ride these very hard and frequently. That's good. That's how they're meant to be used. So they're well tested, is what I'm getting to. Most people ride them every day or many, many times a month. And when you're using them, you're kicking the resistance really high and you're really pedaling hard or you're pedaling fast. And from the experience I've seen, in the most part, it works really well and they don't have too many issues. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean they don't have things that break and some known issues. I don't know the frequency per se, but in monitoring the boards and support forums, the pedals have been known to snap off. It sounds scary. I know it doesn't happen a ton, but it has happened in cases. So something to consider. The screens have broke in various situations, but they can be replaced relatively easy. And the bearings have been known to go. I think those are mostly bikes that are getting a little bit older. Another small issue that can happen is the calibration can get out of whack a little bit, which can make the numbers it reports inaccurate and make you either go up the leaderboard or down the leaderboard and not be accurate, which isn't what you want because you want to be competitive and know where you're really ranking so you can try to push yourself harder and be on the leaderboard where you should be. But all in all, from what I've seen and gathered online, quality isn't something you need to worry about. This thing's top notch, works great, and you feel very comfortable on it. How it works for your home. This has got to be one of the easier pieces of equipment to try to make work for your home. It's small and easy to set up. Now, it does need a power connection through a standard outlet. Pretty easy there. It also needs internet connection. Now you can use wireless or an Ethernet cable. Most people use wireless and it seems to work just fine. If you have the ability to hook up a cable to it, that's preferred just because it eliminates some of the problems that can occur with wireless or delays and causing issues with streaming. But all in all, most people have no issues with that. And then it does need about a 4 foot by 2 foot space to work and make it fit within the space and give you the room to maneuver and whatnot. Living room, bedroom, if you have room downstairs, it can go anywhere and you can move it around if need be. It's pretty easy to set up. It also has levelers on the bottom of the bike to make sure it's connected to the floor just perfectly. So that way you're not going to get any wobble or feel instability while you're riding the bike. It feels very stable. Now, with that being said, one issue that people do run into is putting this on carpet. Because there's that little bit of cushion underneath the bike in between the floor and the bike, it can result in a little bit of wobble and not feeling as comfortable as you want to be on a bike that you're kind of hooked into and pedaling hard. So a lot of people just buy a piece of plywood and stick it under the bike. And for the most part, that seems to resolve all issues. Now, if you have a super plush carpet or for some reason it's still just causing that little bit of wobble there, people have built boxes that will, just have 2x4s underneath it. And those are hooking up the floor so it's not the whole piece, trying to sit there and balance on the floor and compress against carpet. It's just those boards will kind of sink in, create their spot, and then the bike will sit on the plywood that's on top of that little box you built, and that seems to take care of the case. So just one thing to think about if you're going to be using this on top of carpet. Ideally, put on a hard floor if you can, but carpet can work just fine if you need to. Outside of that, it's just a matter of figuring out where you want to put it. It's that easy. Who's the Peloton for? Just about everybody. Obviously, if you have problems riding a bicycle, this might not be for you. Or maybe it can be, depending if it helps you rehabilitate. And that's something that a lot of people have experienced. Those with knee problems or ankle issues have used a Peloton to rehabilitate, and it's worked great. And that's kind of the beauty behind it. It's a smooth resistance that's kind of always there and continual in that motion. So you can kind of work your way into things, and you can also keep it very light at the beginning and very gradually work your way up, as opposed to running or things like that. It might be more of an impact workout, or weightlifting where you have a tendency to swing weights and you're moving heavy amounts of weights and trying to not re-injure yourself. The Peloton's always got that smooth resistance that's just always there. It makes it really easy to work your way back in. So it just really works for a lot of people, primarily using the legs. And then the rest of your body just sitting there and being able to do light things with your arms, or the different things that they ask you to do, whether it's standing, sitting, arm workouts as you do it. But it's just a very easy to use product. One question that gets asked a lot is, am I too big for the Peloton? And the answer is probably no. I'm 6'3", 230 pounds, and it's no issue at all. A lot of people have posted saying that they're 6'6", and a lot of people upwards of 300 pounds, and they handle it just fine. They say it works like a champ. So unless you are quite a bit bigger than those measurements, I think you're just fine. And if you are, head to the Peloton studio or find someone that you can test it out on. But so far, I have not seen a single person say, I am too big for the Peloton. With that being said, I will say there's one thing I've came across, and that's when they do the arm exercises. A lot of times you have to reach up and you take the weights up and down with your arms. And if you have a low ceiling, like I do, you have a tendency to hit that ceiling. As you're sitting up on the bike, you're already quite a ways up in the air, and then you're supposed to fully extend your arms. So in my case, I'm only able to go like yay high and right before I'm touching the ceiling. So that's one downside for me personally, but I don't think too many people will run into that. But something to consider. Now, this really doesn't affect who can use the bike, but one thing I want to cover, just so you're aware, your butt's gonna hurt. It is gonna hurt. That first week while you adjust to constantly being on that seat, doing whatever you're doing, 30-minute rides, 45-minute rides, even maybe if it's shorter, you're doing it consistently and your body's not adapted to it. So you get sore. It goes away. People are always asking, am I going to be able to get through this? A week, maybe 2 weeks top. You kind of just push through it. Then it goes away, and you don't really experience it again unless you leave the bike forever, and then you might have to do it again. But your body just adapts, and then you're good. But be ready for that. And last, some people do complain about sorenesses they develop when using the bike. Generally, it's just they have to figure out what the proper settings are for the bike. The seat can go up and down, backwards and forwards, and the handlebars can go up and down as well. So there's a lot of different configurations that you can set up for the bike. And depending on how tall you are in general, your height of your legs versus the rest of your body, it can really take a minute to figure out how it's best configured for you. Until then, you might notice you might feel a little sore. I don't think most people experience this, but it is something you may run into. So just know that finding that right setting might take a minute for you, but once you get it, then you're good to go. The Peloton's ability to motivate. This is where it shines for me. I think we all know the stories of others or yourself. You get the new treadmill, you get the workout set, you get some movies, whatever, some sort of new product you're excited for. You start doing it, you're hitting it hard, and you're enjoying yourself, or at least to some degree, and then it starts to get boring. It happens, you fade away, and that's a thing of the past. The Peloton, it just keeps you engaged, it keeps you motivated. And that's what's so special about it to me. I mean, you're taking these live classes, and you have these instructors that are just very uplifting, excited to teach you and to ride with you and to push you. It keeps you excited. It's just something to focus on. Most home workouts you do, they're just consistent, the same thing, repetitive. And there's only so much of that I can handle. And I imagine that's the case for most people. But with the Peloton, it's unique every day in a certain way. You never have to take the same class twice. There's plenty of different instructors to pick from. You can filter by the type of music you like and get different playlists every day. There's a current status bar that shows where you currently are at in the ride. So if you're doing a 30-minute ride and you're 10 minutes in, you're going to be able to see where you are ranked versus everybody else that's done this. If it's live, it's going to be against live people. If it's an on-demand one that's already complete, you're going to be able to see real-time where you're at against different people. So if 3,000 people have taken that ride, you're going to see, I'm at 1,500, I'm going to push it, or this is about where I'm at right now. I know I'm working on it. I'm going to get better, but next week I want to be at 1,200. I think it's something about how your brain works. For me, if I just had this bike and it didn't have these interactive features, I think I'd get bored quickly and I probably wouldn't do it. And even with how good this hardware is and how cool the bike is and how nice it feels, I'd lose motivation. But once you throw in that interactive feel and all the things it provides, it takes it to a new place, and it keeps you excited to come down and work out. It's what just makes the Peloton so amazing, and that's what's makes it worth the price, if I'm being honest. Along with your current status, it shows your personal record, and it kind of shows two values as far as what your total burn for that course or that duration of ride was, and then where you're currently at. So, for example, if you're 10 minutes into that 30-minute ride again, it might say, last time at this point in the ride for your best 30-minute ride ever, you were at 125, and you see that you're at 120, and it gives you that push to say, oh, I'm there, I can beat it, I can go get it, and you push a little harder, which results in a better workout, and that's what we all want, right? So that part is really neat. It's just one of the many things that make this motivating. I'm kind of talking about them all individually, but when you think about it, all these things kind of stack on top of each other, and it just gives you motivation from different angles, and that's what makes this bike exciting. At this point, I've talked about the live classes. They're recorded in a studio in New York, and you could do them live, which is amazing, really neat. You're doing a live class with people all across the world. Once they're done, they're recorded and they're put out there for you to go choose, and you can rewrite the same one if you want to keep challenging yourself or pick from thousands of options. But in addition to that, there's Scenic Rides. So they have taken recordings from all over the world and allow you to ride that path and see. It's kind of a at your own pace ride, so to say, but you push yourself as hard as you want. You don't have an instructor guiding you, but you get to see something really neat. So just yet another thing you can do with the Peloton. And on top of that, they do just have a just ride section. So if you're like, I don't need any bells or whistles today, I just want to go ride, maybe I'm gonna flip on the TV and watch something, you can do that as well. But it's not limited. It's not like you turn on that screen, it's like, all right, here I go with that same thing. You have choices, and that's pretty neat. I know I'm going on and on about the cool features of the screen, the interactive part of it, but I'm not going to say anything negative about that, to be honest. That's what makes Peloton Peloton. So, I mean, if that wasn't amazing, you wouldn't be hearing about this bike. It wouldn't be selling. So they've got that top notch. So good to go there. If that was a worry in the back of your head, throw it out the window. All right. If you're buying the bike, you're probably looking for some sort of result. Being healthier, in better shape, more endurance, inches, weight loss, you name it, something. And you're curious, is it good at that? I mean, that is why you're buying it. And from what I've seen, the results have been mostly positive. It's a cardio machine. So if you just simply want to get in shape or be able to have more endurance or just exercise your ass off, good to go. I mean, this thing will work you out hard. It keeps your heart rate elevated in perfect zones. You can kind of control where it goes as far as the heart rate and what zone you end up in. So if that's where your interests are, you're good to go. Move along, because you're spot on. You're not going to be disappointed in the slightest. If you're looking for weight loss or inches, from what I've gathered, most people have very positive results. Now, I have noticed, and hate to say it, maybe a little unfair, but some women have commented that the weight doesn't seem to fall off just as fast. But they also comment that they notice a big difference in inches. So what a lot of people believe is that you gain muscle because you're really working out hard, and maybe you came into this when you weren't that in shape to begin with. So you're gaining muscle, which is heavier than fat. You are losing fat. The scale is not going to change a whole lot, but you're going to have that muscle density and that muscle mass to make up for it, which may go in places you like anyways. So initially, don't get disappointed if you see that. Keep moving along. Chances are it's having the right impact. It just, the scale might take a little while to catch up because of what I just described. And I think that's okay, and most people would be happy with that. Now, with any sort of weight loss plan, diet's always going to matter. Doesn't matter if you're burning 600 calories on the bike every day. If you're ingesting enough calories that you're still taking in 1,000 more than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. But as far as the calorie burn portion, helping you burn more calories and then getting your diet in sync so you're ingesting less calories than you burn, this bike is amazing at helping you get to that point. You know, without the exercise, you might be burning, say, 2,500 calories on a day. You throw this bike in and you do a strong 45-minute bike ride during the day. You're gonna, maybe burn 600 calories. Day after day, that's gonna make it a whole lot easier to have a deficit and see that weight loss. So definitely helps from that standpoint. And it works you out hard. There's gonna be a pile of sweat under you. So that calorie burn is real. So even if this is your only workout option, you're gonna be improving your odds for weight loss dramatically. This thing is crazy expensive. It's gonna be $2,000 up front, but when you click the little add to cart button, you think you might be stopping there, and then you realize it doesn't stop there at all. Delivery fee, if you prepay for the first year, and then accessory packages, you need the shoes. There's various things that add up, and chances are, depending on how you bundle it, it's gonna come out to around $3,000. Finance it, it'll be more in the long run, but it can be plus or minus that number, which in my book is a lot of money. So it's something you gotta consider. It's probably the biggest factor when you're purchasing it. I mean, obviously everything else goes into play, but I think that's the hang up for most people. I'm not faulting Peloton when I say it's a crazy price. I don't know how much it costs to make this thing. I don't know how much it takes to turn a profit. Maybe they're losing money. I have no idea. But I know when I go to hit that submit button on my purchase and I see just a little over $3,000, my heart hurts a little bit. So the good news, and the thing I can say to most of you, is now that I've had the Peloton for a while, I've been working out with it, I've seen how much I liked it, I appreciate where the money went. I don't look back, which I think this is saying a lot considering it's money I could still have if I had done something else with, but looking back, I don't regret spending that money there. I'm happy with it. I'm still using it. I don't wish, why did I buy that? Why did I buy that? No, I enjoy it. I'm still glad I have it. I'd make the same decision if I had the money today and I didn't have the Peloton. I am very happy with the product. So that's the one thing I can say, that for anybody that's hung up on the price. But it is stupid expensive for one piece of machinery, especially if you're trying to build a home gym or anything like that. But another thing I could say is, if you don't have the money for a full-out home gym, and this is what you want, and you're looking just to get in shape or weight loss or better cardio, you could do everything you need with this. Unless you're looking to bulk up muscle or do something like that with lifting, the Peloton is a great option, and you can do everything you need to as far as weight loss, calorie burn, and the commitment and enjoying what you're doing to keep doing it consistently enough to see results. So positive from that standpoint, negative from the amount of money it's going to come out of your checking account. But all in all, happy with it. You just got to figure it out. Oh, and I did have another video that kind of helps you decide if you're ready to purchase the Peloton financially. So I'll link that somewhere. I don't know. Never done it before. But good luck. Now, it wouldn't be a Peloton review without showing you the monitor that's attached to the bike. I could just point a camera at the screen and show you things as I click around and kind of interrupt your view. But why not show you one of the really cool features? And that's casting your screen to your TV. Alright, so we're looking at the Peloton screen. I'm going to try to keep this part pretty quick because there's a lot of in-depth reviews on this portion of the Peloton, and I don't want to waste your time. But there are a lot of screens to cover, so let's get going. Everybody has their own individual profile, so don't feel like if 2 or 3 people in your household are using the bike, that you're all going to see each other's stats. It's all intermingled, and it's hard to know how good you're doing. You log in, you hit your own profile. It's very easy to switch, so don't worry about that. Now, in the bottom left, you have the ability to click on your profile and see your stats. If you've been following along, you know I've had this since the end of March, and I have logged a total of a whopping 24 lifetime cycling events, which is not great. I will admit that. We bought this and then we immediately started camping and being out of the house a lot, so I have not had a lot of time to use this, but coming this fall I will be hitting it hard, and I'm very excited to do so. Now, from this screen you have the ability to see your overall stats, what you've been doing, your workout history, achievements, and activity. Which is pretty neat because you just go back and see what you're doing. You can see the bar graph here that shows your best watts, average, what the event looked like, and then all the details around it. So it's really neat to kind of do a deep dive on how you've done in the past and where you've come. You could scroll through and just see all those different events and click on each one of them. So very neat view. Milestones are something people get very excited about. Century Club is a big one. Shows that you've had 100 rides, so I'll be working towards that. As you can see, I've not hit many yet, but something to come, and some that just, again, another motivating factor, something you can hit and try to work towards. And then activity really is just another view to show you exactly what you've done over time. Now the first tab of riding tabs is the featured tab, which just shows you popular rides that they're promoting. You can click those and ride them at any time. On demand is the most popular that I'm aware of. It's the one that just shows all events that have been recorded. It allows you to filter down to the one that you want. And there are so many options. This is where it gets really neat because you never have to do the same thing twice. You also have the ability to filter down. So being an Emma Lovewell fan, I'll say I want to do a ride by her. You could see that there are just selections beyond selections. Let's say I want to do a 30-minute ride. Still tons of options. From there, you could filter down to a class type. One thing that's neat about the Peloton is that it's not just cycling. There are many different types of cycling that you can do that influence weight loss, calorie burn in many different ways, and you can try to find what works for you or just keep changing it up so you keep yourself interested. And on top of that, you have the ability to select the type of music you like. So you tailor it to what you want, which is very, very neat. Next is schedule. And basically this is their live classes. You can see the calendar view here and see that you can see things way out in the future and count yourself in and kind of schedule yourself into that. But you can also see the ones that are about to happen and just go hop on those. And then last is more. You have a Scenic Ride option, and if I click that, you could see that basically you get to go follow places that you may never get to go in real life, but you get to go ride them through the Peloton, which is very neat and allows you to do something a little bit more at your own pace as opposed to instructor-led where they're really pushing you. Maybe it's when you want to do a lighter ride or you just want to push yourself hard. You also have the Just Ride option, which basically takes the bells and whistles out, says let me ride at my own pace, do what I want, track my information. It still captures cadence, resistance, and output, but lets you do your own thing. Good for maybe if you want to watch TV, put a movie on, something like that, and just ride. You have a menu option that just has a lot of neat features. It has training for if you're new to the Peloton and guides you through that. Helps you find new Peloton people to follow, friends, which is neat because then you can also just ride against them if you want. When you're riding, you can see their stats and kind of have a little group challenge. And then various other things, profile settings, device settings, and a global leaderboard. And I'm not going to go into it more than that. I mean, there's the Android features too, which lets you cast your screen, connect your Wi-Fi, and various functionality. If you get one of these, you obviously can tinker around with those and kind of find features that you enjoy. But I'd be making this video a little too long if I covered every one of them. So I know this was quick, and it was meant to just give you a taste of what the Peloton screen is like and help you feel comfortable with what it's about. If you'd like a more in-depth video, let me know. I can definitely do that. But otherwise, I think this will definitely give you what you need to know to kind of get started and know what you're going to be getting into if you buy one of these. You don't have to have any worries about this part. Peloton Support. Pretty darn solid, to be honest. From my history with them, it still has a small company feel, meaning you don't feel like just like another number when you call in. I only had one issue that I needed support on. A very common issue with the Peloton is that when you stand up and ride as opposed to sitting down, the extra force on your feet causes a kind of a high-pitched squeak to come from your cleats as you're latched in. So I contacted them. The cleats that come are all plastic, basically, and they have a new plastic/metal version. I don't know much about it. I didn't look into it. I just took it. But when I contacted them, they said, oh, yep, we got a replacement. It's on the way. Never talked about money, never talked about anything. They just said, here you go. We want to improve your experience, which is pretty cool. You know, obviously you spend that much money on a bike. They want to keep you happy. It's probably a small expense on their part, but the stories like that seem to be pretty common when you look out in the Peloton threads. Most people that reach out to them are very happy with the results they get. They seem to really care about you. Some people get messages from them when they know that they went through a life event, and Peloton writes them a nice little message saying, hey, sorry you went through that. I hope everything's going well. They still just have that personal touch. Like I said, small company feel. You just get that feeling they care, which is awesome. So I don't really have any negative stories to tell. I haven't heard of any negative stories. They seem great. As simple as that. In conclusion, probably not a big surprise on where I'm going with this. But first, if you've liked this video and you'd like to see more things about Peloton and health related items, please hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If you liked it, throw me a like. I'd also appreciate that. If you didn't like it, you can hit the thumbs down button. But Peloton, it's amazing. It's really good. It's truly a great product. There are very, very few things to complain about. It is a machine. Things do break. You know, there's a monitor on it. There are pieces that are moving all the time, things that are against high amounts of impact. So the potential to break is there. But all in all, cases seem to be few and far between. It's a quality build that's put together very well with some amazing software behind it, awesome instructors, and an interactive vibe feel that is just something I've never experienced before that you can bring into your own home. It is truly amazing. I love it. I think you'll love it. So if you do get one, I hope I've helped you make your decision or at least make you feel comfortable. But when you click that button to get it, just be excited till it gets to your house and then hit it hard because you're going to love it.